Hey everyone, my name's Xavier, and welcome to Dwarfen Doofy Diggers. This is our brand new Rimworld series, and it's going to be a little bit different because we're not going to build a base at all. Instead, we're going to try to get rich by mining gold and other valuable materials, and then we're going to go around to different towns selling that and buying weapons. We're not going to craft, we're not going to plant, we're not going to tame. And we're finally using the Fog of War mod, and wow, does it make a big difference. We're also not going to look at the raid alerts, so we don't know what's coming or from where. However, for those of you who are interested in base building, the same minute that this video goes live, I'm going to be starting a live stream with the same mod list where I'm doing the exact opposite in a different campaign on twitch.tv/Xwynns. And that campaign is going to be literally building a castle and getting super rich and trying to get the biggest raids of all time and then defending against them. In any event, I hope you guys enjoy the adventures of the Dwarfen Doofy Diggers. I will say it starts off a little slow in this first episode, but once we get past the initial setup, it's some fun times with friends. So, without further ado, here is the intro to set the mood, prepared by Bravo Wolf, who also did all the editing for this series, and even prepared a couple of, well, you'll see. Let's just call them value-added experiences for now.
Indentured servitude sucks, and nobody knew that better than Amit, Cinnamon, and Kyosuke, who worked their fingers to the bone every day, receiving for it only the constant tongue-lashing by their noble dwarven masters. Having had enough of such a miserable life, made even worse by all the wealth surrounding them, they decided to run away together. Stealing such equipment and provisions as they could get their hands on, they intended to find riches in the unexplored hills, all the while running as far away from their former masters as they could, preferably to the other side of the world.
So we're going to do a new colony. It's going to be the custom scenario, Dwarfen Doofy Diggers. These are not the sharpest dwarven noggins in the shed, some might say. 3 low-born servant dwarves strike out on their own in search of riches. We're going to start with 3 out of 9 dwarves. We're going to have stone cutting, clothing, furniture, beer brewing, and smithing as our research. And our restrictions, a global restriction, we can never tame animals. We can never sow plants on the ground. We're only going to start with 25 bread, a couple of basic pickaxes, and a basic crossbow. A single basic dwarven shield to complement a single pair of dwarven armor, both a helmet and the main armor piece, and 3 bedrolls. That is it. Very poor dwarves just broke free of their indentured servitude, and they're on the run from their dwarven captors, shall we say, and they want to get as far away as possible to the other side of the world and strike it rich while they're out in the lands unknown. I'm going to use this new storyteller here called Maynard Medieval, who I believe is the same as Cassandra, except that he disables anything that's not medieval tech, and I think he enables some additional medieval sieges and some medieval events and storyteller type things. Merciless, reload anytime. The seed is called Goat, and we're going to be starting way up here. Carrick Hearn. We ran away from our medieval captors, and we want to get as far away from these guys as possible. Under cover of night, we ran up here on the road, fell in the river because we're dwarfy doofies, and then we sailed down here by mistake. Sailed, I mean float, as a dwarf sails, to this thing here where we washed up on shore against the large hills, and we're going to strike it out here, and we're going to move as far and as fast as possible away from Carrick Hearn through the Heartless Bringer indeed, through the deserts. Then we'll come down through Mount Goat, as it were, up over here through Legua Swamp, through all these nice little trading regions, down over here through these regions, and the ultimate goal is to get all the way land down here next to this lake. Lake Fun the Amusia. So such is the plan. This list is what I made the characters from. So I think I kept this character, and then I think I took this one down here. But for the sake of customizing their appearance and also the gear that we're going to be bringing, I've made a prepare carefully preset, which I'm going to load now. Yeah, so you can see these are all the same characters. I didn't touch their stats whatsoever. The only thing I did was change all of their adult backstories, their adulthood backstories to house servant. And this reduces their mining by 4. They know nothing of the thing, even though that's their ambition. They are going to have a decent amount of cooking, and basically they can't do any crafting whatsoever, nor can any of these starting characters do research. However, additional characters we recruit can craft and do research. And for equipment, it's all the same here as the start, except I wanted to add a big alpaca wool deployable tent for 375. And here's the Fog of War mod in all of its glory. We see nothing! So first, we'll start by getting equipped. Cinnamon's by far the best shooter, so she's going to wear the crossbow. Our best melee character is going to be Amit over here, who, randomly enough, is a tough brawler with a burning passion for melee and a skill of 11. Absolutely insane. We'll give him a steel pickaxe and all of the armor. And Kiyosuke is kind of a decent all-rounder who likes melee, shooting, and various other things, but we'll give him the other steel pickaxe. First thing to do is probably immediately set up our tent. So the primary setup here is that Kiyosuke is going to be the cook. Cinnamon is the de facto hunter / backup cook. And Amit's going to be mostly the melee brawler / hauler, while Kiyosuke's also the constructor. Six by 6 general storage area on the right side at a lower priority. This is just to catch all stuff, basically. The reason it's 6 by 6 is because we can build a roof up over it. Cannot build a roof over a poplar tree. I'm sure we'll cut that down. I'm wondering if this supports it when I take the tent down, if someone's gonna die. Oh yeah. Oh, I'll put a wall up for that later. So we're gonna be here a while. We'll throw in some half-decent floors. I think I'll try putting in one of these random new fences to see how that works out. They don't use a huge amount of wood. Should look nice, keep things out of our storage areas as well. And possibly even give us something to attach the roofs to. And let us not forget the joy recreation variety that I always forget. We'll even put a little scenic bench over here by the lake or the river, where they can reminisce about the times that they sailed down like Doofy not swimmers. Not a bad first night. Not quite complete, but complete enough. Now we work on getting a food table and a source of food, since this stone bread definitely is not going to last very long. Even though this classic... Oh, we don't have the construction for it. Never mind. I'll have to go with the regular table then. Very fortunately, there's a huge amount of steel here, which we can deconstruct. We'll do exactly that. Use that for some basics, like crafting a lamp over here for light. And now it's time to scout through the fog of war. Cinnamon has the only ranged weapon, so that seems like the best option. Here, apparently, already seems to be some steel. Not the best resource in the world because it's heavy, but if nothing else, it'll allow us to get Amit some trained skill. So we'll just mine that entire thing for now. But we look for more useful ores. The goal is gold, silver, or Grom Grill, I believe it's called, which is a new resource the Rimhammer Dwarves mod adds. That's about actually more than 3 times valuable than gold. However, it's almost as heavy as steel, whereas gold and silver is exceptionally light. So it's going to be kind of a... Even if we do find it, we'll make a lot of money selling it, but we're not going to be able to haul very much of it unless we can find some pack animals to buy someplace. This mineable sulfur and saltpeter are also added from the Rimhammer mod. And these are worth almost nothing. They weigh a decent amount, and they're worth very, very little. They're not worth the weight capacity whatsoever to bring back to town to sell. Meanwhile, the cinnamon wanders around. Amit and Kiyosuke are over here digging unbelievably slowly. Chick! Tick! They'll figure it out eventually. It's not called Dwarven Doofy Diggers for nothing. They are both terrible, unbelievably bad skill. But once they learn, they will accelerate very, very, very rapidly. Ooh, natural mine of sorts. Perhaps there be no riches. Disappointment to the extreme. Should probably mention with the Fog of War mod, you can't actually see the wildlife on the map here. When you click on the wildlife tab, there's literally nothing shows up unless you can actually physically see it yourself. However, if you mark something to hunt, the hunting tag will stay there. You still won't see it in the list of animals, but you'll be able to hunt things automatically. You just have to go out and find it, then mark it for hunting, and then not worry about it. Another cave. We believe. We believe. Yeah. Don't give up hope yet? All right, everyone give up hope. There's nothing to be seen. Well, it's getting dark. Cinnamon has had enough of this. Let's take one more look over. Can we even see in there? Barely, but we really don't see anything. We'll let her go back. We've scouted approximately half the map in one day. Thus far, we have found no valuable resources whatsoever, which is a rather large disappointment. Not that it really matters that much, though, because even if we found the resources, we would lack the skill to extract them right now anyway. So tomorrow, I think we'll go out, maybe mark some things for hunting. That'll allow Cinnamon to automatically hunt them, restock the supplies. This stone bread lasts for a year, even not refrigerated. So ideally, we want to hold on to that, if possible, and then start eating jerked meats or some such from the medieval mod. Speaking of, we're going to need a fire pit here. I suppose there is the best place, although it looks like an awkward layout. Fire pit to craft up our meals. In the morning of day 2, so we're on the hunt for animals. We currently see literally nothing on the wall. There we go, hare and a rat on the wildlife tab right over here. There was a group of alpacas. Those are probably the meatiest things we can find. They're very docile. Get 1 or 2 of those back in the stores so Kiyosuke can start crafting the foods, or creating the foods rather. Amit can work on his mining skill, and Cinnamon can go continue to, prospect? Splunk? Splunk! The splunking cinnamon, that's what it is. Where the heck did those alpacas go? Bloody, this Fog of War mod adds a whole new sense of realism to the game. One cool thing we do have as a result of the Fog of War mod is a watchtower, where we can put that down, and any character that's standing in it, there we go, we'll mark this for hunting. Boom. See if Cinnamon immediately goes to do it. She's gonna go consume stone bread, but then I imagine she'll come back. And as we can see here, as the Fog of War covers it, you can still see that it's being marked. We can't click on it, but we can indeed see that it's there, and she'll go up and hunt it when it's her time to do so. Yeah, there she goes. She found it. She came back up. We're good. As I was saying with this defensive structure here and the security, if we... Oh, so much for being good. If we put that tower down and stand on it, it'll increase our field of vision from about yay big thus far to something more akin to almost the whole map from what you can see from this zoom level. Gotta make sure Amit's gonna come over here because he's the melee expert. Cinnamon can shoot this thing from across the way. Our first fight, boys! It done be an enraged Mega Sloth. So I could have sworn the revenge chance for that was going to be next to 0. Woo! Amit took at least 1 hit there. Right in the eye, left ear as well. Woo! Now I should note that with these shields are incredibly strong. Amit's base skill with melee is like 11 or... yeah, it's 11. So with Amit's melee skill of 11, his melee block chance is 65%. His range block chance is 18%. And how that works is 100% of the damage will go into the shield's hit points. Now, normally, if you could just craft infinite shields, that would be a bit overpowered, but since we can't craft at all, we cannot replace the shield. So I'm actually kind of glad that Amit almost lost his eye there, because now our shield only lost 11 hit points. So Amit's eye is basically a renewable shield, whereas our shield is kind of valuable this early. Or Kiyosuke's doing some rather shoddy patchwork to Amit's eye. I don't know, what's he doing? Just punching him right in the eye to stop the bleeding? He's like, Amit, hold still, sir. My fist is coming for your eye. But this does bring to light a very important thing, though. We need to click here on this wild heal root, zoom out, double click on all the heal root, and go immediately into harvest. Harvest every single heal root that we can see on the map. Now, it will queue up heal root that we've previously discovered, but it won't queue up heal root that we can't see because of the Fog of War mod. This is going to add a rather large amount of orders to the job queue because Kiyosuke's going to go out individually harvesting every one of them, probably leaving them on the ground, and then when Amit heals, he'll probably go up and pick them all up individually and run them all back one by one. So we'll have to wait a little while for this to unfold. Meanwhile, Cinnamon will fall back on secondary cooking. Kiyosuke's normally the cook here. But it's actually a good thing that she's doing this because we can give ourselves a chance to heal and harvest these things, and then tomorrow we'll resume looking for ores. Our first visitor has arrived. A group from the Defenders' Estates are visiting the colony. They have a few items to trade. I believe the best talker in the colony is Cinnamon. In fact, I believe Cinnamon's the only person who can talk. Indeed, the social skill of Kiyosuke is literally 0. Or they are dwarfy doofers, as it were. Amit cannot even speak. And Cinnamon, being the only competent one amongst the mix who can open her mouths to form eloquent words of such, rivaling even that of my own, apparently. We'll have to come out here and talk to... ooh, Eddie and Jonathan. They have some fancy gears. However, I'm not going to be cheesy in this campaign like I've done in every other one and just go and rage Rhinoceros and bring it over. I know I can do that, but I'm going to actually avoid doing that for once. Now, we started out with literally nothing. As such, we have literally nothing to trade to them. And so our first trade resolves in nothing. Surprise, surprise. Right, Amit has fully healed, but did he get a scar? Nope, he is 100% good to go. Cinnamon's just chopping up all this Mega Sloth meat into the jerked meat. Amit's just sitting down here mining all the livelong day. With a mining skill of 2, it's certainly gone up, that's for sure. Doubled since the last time I checked. Meanwhile, Kiyosuke's on an epic quest of enormous importance to cut down heal roots left and right. Woo! Kiyosuke's being pursued by a mad squirrel. Which is actually a little bit more scary this time, since I have no idea precisely where it was coming from until I caught it right there very briefly. Yeah, here it comes. I'm sure Amit can handle this squirrel no problem. Oh god. How much health did our shield lose? That's the really important thing here. 3, so not very much. Meanwhile, Kiyosuke got bit in the arm and shoulder. That's fine. Dwarves have a slight racial bonus to healing. Blood filtration looks like a total of 130%. So even if he gets an immunity or gets an infection, we should be fine with what limited herbal meds we have here. Unfortunately, a rather sizable amount of Megasloth meat's gonna rot in about 2 hours. I think we'll get one more cook done. Had Kiyosuke been cooking all this time, that would have probably actually been a little bit more expeditious, but he had to go gather all the heal root. And it looks like he's done gathering the heal root, and the total reserves of heal root on the entire map is 15. So we have 15 herbal meds, and we can't plant any more. And there goes all of the meat as well. I suppose it's time to resume scouting for minerals with cinnamon. Ooh, this is very nice. The jerked meats. We have deer and alpaca. All of that is a huge amount of deer. Another cave. Third time's the charm. Lots of interesting cave complexes in this one. Saltpeter. Oh well. It's actually very important to walk by to make sure you see these corner tiles. Because there's something, from my experience, it's like a 50-50 or so. You'll find one of those rare materials just in one of those tiles and nowhere else. And with the Fog of War, you have to be able to see it in it from an angle to identify it. Silver! Oh no, boys. Kiyosuke done went on an insulting spree. However, we at least found some silver. It's not the best thing in the world, but that's actually a pretty sizable... what is this? 11 tiles of silver? That's not bad. That's going to end up being probably 300 silver. I think it's about $1 a piece, so $300 worth of silver. I mean, it's not great, for sure, but it's also not terrible. Let's go check on what Kiyosuke's up to. He will wander around insulting others because of his poor mood and because he's working in the dark. Oh, no. This does bring to mind the fact that I should have put a light down here in the mining caves for their mood. There's no reason not to. Just throw one right in there. Like, we have plenty of steel laying around from ripping these things apart. In fact, we'll go do that right now. Remove the floors. Boom. And then let's see what Kiyosuke's up to. Also, I've been showing off what the characters have for stats and talking about them until now. Now's probably a good time to look into it. Kiyosuke compared Amit to a mantis. Kiyosuke compared Amit to a coyote. Kiyosuke called Amit a shark. Apparently, the dwarven diggy doofers are none too great with insults. Just as some would suspect, being that their name's literally Doofy. You're a mantis, Amit. You're a coyote, and you're a shark. Amit's just thoroughly confused. Oh God, Amit's had enough of this. Kiyosuke openly insulted Amit's nose. Now see, it was one thing. It was one thing to call Amit any number of animals, but to insult his nose is unacceptable. I should point out that Kiyosuke is the youngest dwarf here at the age of 82. Amit is 175, and Cinnamon is 173. Amit is a ripe ye old elder. Kiyosuke is a veritable youngin at 82. Let's see the results of the fight. Whoa! Amit, what? What? Well, Kiyosuke won't forget that anytime soon. Amit destroyed the right fourth toe of Kiyosuke entirely. Kiyosuke didn't even take a scratch. Of course, he also had the shield, which has now gone down by another 10 hit points, unfortunately. So, all in all, that was a horrific fight, and Kiyosuke just lost a toe for being I guess you could call him a stubby bubby, quite literally. Now, the actual characters here. Kiyosuke has a great memory, and he is very neurotic. Global work speed of 40%, but this comes with a mental break threshold increase of 14%, which you just saw right there in action. So once he gets his mining skill up, he's going to be unbelievably fast at this. 25% for being a dwarf, as well as an additional 40% very neurotic memory speed, very neurotic global work speed, and his mining skill will go down slower when we're caravanning around because of his great memory. He's going to be an absolute workhorse, although his hauling is a little bit slower now since he's got one less toe. He's also got a half-decent amount of medical skill at a 3 with a minor passion for it. Amit, on the other hand, has the same medical skill but no passion for it, and Cinnamon has quite a good medical skill at 6 and a decent passion for it as well. So Cinnamon and Kiyosuke are both kind, although Cinnamon has a chemical fascination, one of the most difficult to deal with traits in the game. Although, since we can't grow anything, it may not come into fruition too much for us. Though if we get into a big raid and people start dropping drugs left and right, whoo, with only 3 dwarfs, bad times ahead. Cinnamon's apparently psychically dull, which just means she's not very sensitive to any psychic events, should they happen. And as we already went over before, Amit is a tough brawler. That's it. This guy, literally, he's a tough brawler. You insult his nose, you're going to lose a toe. You call him a squirrel, chipmunk, shark, he's like, yeah, what are you doing? This ain't no nature channel. Get out of here, you stupid dumbs. I got places to be, things to do. Whereas Cinnamon has all sorts of passions. Animals, shooting, melee, mining, medical, art, social. And Kiyosuke shares that with her in that he also has 6 passions, although one of which we can't even really use with plants, other than harvesting the heal root. A motley crew, if ever there was one. And now there's an unusual heat wave. The thing about this is we actually have literally no way to deal with this whatsoever. None of our starting characters can even research. Passive coolers is something we don't automatically have. There are ice blocks, but we have yet to research that in Medieval, nor do I believe we can get them, or we have to go very deep into the mod to get those. And I have no concept really of the Dwarven Rimhammer additions. What is this now? Sad Wanderer and Amit? Because he was insulted. Oh, Amit, don't worry. You old stubborn dwarf, you. See, he plays the role of a tough brawler, but we all know that deep down he's just a soft little squiggle bubble. That's what dwarfs say when other dwarfs are soft at heart. They call them squiggle bubbles. That's a real thing. You guys can look it up on the internet. I feel confident saying that, knowing that literally none of you will actually bother to go do that. Although, if you did and you found something, I'd be very curious to know what it said. Then again, if someone wants to create the Wikipedia entry, be my guest. In any event, let's do something useful today, and what we'll do is we'll bring Cinnamon out. Yeah, good. She's going to hunt the doe. That's not a bad idea, but let's finish actually exploring over here. We found one thing of silver, which is nice. Now that we're done down here, we can actually cancel all of these. No reason to do that. And then this shouldn't be too big of a mine over here for this silver, so I don't have to worry about putting in that lantern that we were talking about before. Oh, look at these little guys. Ducks! And with that, I reckon we've explored nearly the entire map. Just this little area there, and a little area over here, and we've only found one silver vein anywhere. Unfortunate, but we can always prospect through the hills in various strategic locations. Ah, first raid now. Now, one of the things we're doing in this campaign is not checking the raid alert, which means we don't really know what's happening. We know there's a raid, but we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know what they're bringing. Although, quite frankly, we're probably pretty sure it's going to be one single melee raider, because that's what it always is in this game. Amit's still being a sad wanderer. Cinnamon has no armor whatsoever, and Kiyosuke's crying about his stubby bubby toad over here. Let's have Kiyosuke get up and clean the house. We'll stand generally near Amit. This is where a defensive tower or a watch tower would be very helpful to see where they're coming from. Didn't think the raid would come this early, to be honest. They could come from anywhere. They could come from any side of the building, and we can't actually see on the other side, so it actually makes sense to do patrol loops. Brigands are they're now beginning their assault. I didn't even see that. For the whole time they were just standing at the corner someplace. Aha! Wow! Color me a surprised weasel. That is actually the hardest first raid of any campaign I think I've ever seen. Sure, it appears to only be one guy that I could see right now. But he actually has gear. In fact, he's got a lot of gear. Look at this. Archer's bracers, a one-handed crossbow, steel-plated boots that are only tier 1. He's got a steel-plated head wrap. He's even got some socks. Unfortunately, we don't have Amit to go over there and shut down his melee. I could bring Kiyosuke out, but I guess it's not too dangerous, considering he has no armor. Let's bring Cinnamon back around the other side. We'll let Amit start to get shot at. Oh god, they're shooting at Cinnamon! Cinnamon, no! You don't have... Oh, boy, right shoulder. Whoo! Shot in the jaw. We're going to need Kiyosuke to charge down here like yesterday. This is not the time for Amit to be wandering around sadly. Oh, boy. That is one big hit in the right shoulder. Another hit there would have actually severed Cinnamon's entire arm. Luckily, Amit's taking the brunt of the assault here. Yep, there he is. Shot in the back, left arm, but he has armor. There's another shot in the left arm. Whew. Fortunately, again, the armor. And now that Kiyosuke's in here, Cinnamon can charge down to help out. And we should be just fine and dandy. Although Kiyosuke's not going to take a beating. Though it's only going to be like the back end of a one-handed crossbow. How hard can it really hit? Uh-oh. Then again, if he's got armor... We may be sitting here finding that out for quite some time. Amit, come back! Oh, God. No! Cinnamon doesn't even know where to shoot. No! Kiyosuke's down! Oh, boy. All right, now. He has armor. We don't. Punch. Ooh, better to shut down his ability to shoot. Did Kiyosuke lose anything? No, because he was just getting meleeed. This is incredibly bad because Amit was insulted by Kiyosuke because he was working in the dark because I forgot a lamp. These dwarfs are just doofies, boys. They go into the mines. They've never been miners in their lives. They just work. Oh, ha, ha! Cinnamon saves the day. What I meant to say, though, is that the dwarfs, they're just doofies, right? They've been servants their whole lives. They know nothing about mining. They all have negative mining skill. They walk into the mine, they're like, we're here, we're ready. Imagine you as like a 5-year-old or whatever, and you go into a mine, you're like, let's go, I'm ready, and then it's dark. Like, Kiyosuke's like, you know what? Mining sucks. I'm only 82. What do you expect out of me? Whew. Thank God Cinnamon is just the absolute boss of every campaign ever. All right, we're going to go back and save Kiyosuke most hopefully, and while that's happened, let's use the weapons mod to compare the crossbow that we have to the one-handed crossbow. Looks like the DPS of the one-handed crossbow is higher, damage is the same, range is 33% lower. Higher DPS but less range. I prefer the range personally, so we'll deal with it this way. We'll leave this crossbow in the inventory, possibly for someone to use later, but we'll keep Kiyosuke on his mining pick for now. Let's make sure everyone gets healed as fast as possible. Cinnamon's tending to Kiyosuke, which is great. And then after that, I'll have Cinnamon tend to herself, because no one else will be able to do that. She's going to need tending to very quickly. Less than ideal. Cinnamon's outside at night, in the middle of midnight, with her right shoulder almost severed. Standing in a pile of blood out in the fields. Just tending away, trying to stop the bleeding. Doesn't matter, she's a dwarf, she can handle everything. Also, if she goes down, there's no one left to control, so let's pray she doesn't. Of course she doesn't, please. Honestly, I think she probably likes it, because now her shoulder matches her hair. She seems to go into a bit of a daze, which is okay. I think the default here we're going to use is doctor care, but no medicine for everyone. And the reason for that is we have very few herbal meds. And we want to make sure that those last as long as possible. Let's see now that we have more of the map explored if we can harvest up more of these things. Yeah, that'll spend a lot of Kiyosuke's time. This chap over here, I suppose we could tend to him, but you know what? I think dwarves really just don't really care very much for the Hunams. We'll just throw them out in the river and keep on going. Wonderful! So Kiyosuke has gone catatonic, partially due to the heat wave, partially due to the loss of his toe, partially due to getting punched out repeatedly, partially due to sleeping in the bed, covered in blood, and partially due to having no space whatsoever in said little heat box filled with blood. Meanwhile, Amit's on a bit of a tirade because someone said a mean word to him, and Cinnamon's out here apparently just absolutely ecstatic about the matching shirt. What is it called? Coloring? Oh, look at that. It matches so perfect. It's like an extension of her ponytail. Incredible. But she's out here just refusing to come back to the base. She's too busy wallowing in the amazingness of matching colors. Literally, I can't even play the game right now. So I guess I'll just let it run on fast. Oh no! Baby got back up! Oh, baby, get back down! He took his one-handed crossbow with him, and he disappeared into the fog! Oh. Wait, there he is! Amit, snap out of it! Snap out of it! I was gonna call him son, but then I realized he's 5 times older than I'll ever live, so it doesn't work out so well. Pretty sure baby's gonna tootle off the map. 19 hours remaining here. Oh, hey. Apparently a Kiwi thinks a good place to sleep is on the blood-stained pickaxe of Kiyosuke. Can't argue with that. Amit, like a good old dwarf, has come to his senses and is taken to apparently punching Kiyosuke while he's down, because that's how dwarfs heal. They punch each other until they can't feel their wounds anymore. Sounds good. And alas, we now finally have a character. I'm pretty sure baby got off the map, though. It's no chance to even chase him, and no sense to do it either when Amit's about to collapse from extreme lack of rest, lack of food, lack of recreation, etc. Well, if that's our first raid, I'm sure we'll have no problems whatsoever on raid number 2. I'm gonna have to hold the doors open here to cool down Kiyosuke's room. It's getting really hot in there, and his heat stroke is now up to serious. We have no way to counter this, mind you. Amit's in a very good mood. A very good mood indeed. He is finally mining the silver. Look at this man's joy. Minor passion for digging at silver. Well, what do you know? Maybe it's that ye old silver beard that inspired this tale in the first place. One can only speculate. Perhaps, worst case scenario, I have Amit come down here, put up a door, and we can dig in down into this area, which may have the natural cooling stabilizing of the mine, or of the mine shaft under the mountain. And maybe we can keep Kiyosuke cool that way. Now, Amit has almost 0 skill whatsoever at making this door. This may not be the easiest thing in the world. Success. He's putting a roof up over as well. Fantastic. He puts in this roof area right there. Nope, that's all taken care of. This is all covered now. So outside's 107, inside's 106. This appears to be working. Now, I wonder if we dig deeper, if that'll be easier. This limestone is 700. Compacted steel is more. Let's dig through this, since we're probably going to need to prospect anyway. Have Amit come down there and see if we can't extend this a little bit and get it even cooler in here to bring Kiyosuke down if we absolutely need to. All right, it's 114 in the house. Or the tent, rather. 46 Celsius. And the heat stroke is going up. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to reinstall this bedroll down here as deep as we can get it into the mines. For a brief moment there, I thought that was gold. We're going to have Cinnamon immediately take care of this issue and move Kiyosuke down there. Ah, a local rabbit has taken to the colony. I wonder if we could train this rabbit in the ways of biting our enemies. The answer is most likely it'll take a long time, but it's our one and only hope. And it looks like now that I finally got this set up, it's actually hotter inside the mine than outside the mine. Apparently the heat wave is coming to a natural end, is my guess. So great! Good thing I did all of that. The heat wave is over. The final tally was 46% on Kiyosuke. Not too bad. Now, it did occur to me as of right now, we have 100% run out of regular meats. We're going to need Cinnamon on the morrow to get out there and hunt for food. As soon as we're done here, let's clean. At 5 o'clock in the morning, Cinnamon's getting up early to go find anything on the map. Ooh, here we go. We can see the Z's from something sleeping over here. It appears to be a tapir sow. Good enough for me. And with that, things are looking pretty good. Amit's back up. Kiyosuke's out of his stupor, but he'll still rest for a little while here to recover from his wounds. He'll get back to cleaning. Amit's just having a grand old time. His moods could not be higher right now. Him and Cinnamon as well. Cinnamon has now taken it upon herself to hunt that doe that I had marked a long time ago. And while she's up there, we can... There it is! Hey, guys! We're going to hunt a good 4 of these. We'll bring them back. Kiyosuke, once he's healed in a matter of hours, will take to butchering them. Cinnamon can keep on hunting. We can explore a little bit more, and then we're going to have to set our sights on more digging once we're done having Amit mine out this silver vein over here. Now, normally I would take off bed rest, because there's no real reason to have everyone sitting here waiting until they're completely and fully healed to get up and go do work, especially when these wounds aren't threatening. However, with only 3 characters, I want to make it a habit this campaign of healing to full at every opportunity as fast as possible, and I think this accelerates their healing rate when they're resting in bed. And at long last, Kiyosuke has recovered. And the first thing he's going to do is run out the door and harvest the heal root in case that should happen again. Smart move, Kiyosuke. Smart move. A group of travelers from Karek's clan are passing by. This is the first time I've seen a Rimhammer Dwarven group of people, but that's interesting. They had a bunch of screaming like in a cave just now. It sounded really awesome. Looks like that's them right over here someplace. Ooh. Halfrig, Gizer, and Seggi. Looks like she's wearing a dwarven cloak. Ooh, she got a steel basic dwarven hand hammer. It's quite a mouthful. Steel basic dwarven hand hammer normal. Gizer has no weapon whatsoever, and Halfrig has the same exact hand hammer. Alright, well, nice to see that dwarves work. Kiyosuke has obtained muscle parasites. This will be a really good, interesting opportunity to see how fast he can quelch this with proper training, given his dwarven immunity bonus. We'll have Amit get in there and tend to it with a 31%. And hopefully, that'll be gone in not too long. I am none too surprised that we're down to something like 8 jerked meats. I think the rest of that deer tribe is going to have to be felled immediately. Assuming there's anything even left. Oh god. Oh, hello! How convenient! That actually looks to be the remnants of it, though. Who killed this one, I wonder? Cut crossbow. Apparently that's one that Cinnamon killed by mistake. Probably just missing horrifically and hitting it. And then it bled out for no good reason. And that's the end of all of our food that we're aware of. There's probably something else on the map somewhere, but we're going to have to actively go and look for it. Oh, while we're doing that, let's come down here and finish scouting that last area that I hadn't completely scouted. Oh, wait. I scouted literally everything. Never mind. Aha! Well, wouldn't you know what we found out here? The corpse of Baby the Scout. Apparently he didn't make it out. Looks like he might have gotten heat stroke and that caused him to collapse from all of the pain. Fantastic. Something seems to have been nibbling on him just a smidgy-widgy here as he's lost his head. But this means we can pick up this one-handed crossbow. That was a fun little result of Fog of War being enabled right there. Awesome. Very happy to see that we've got a crossbow now. Ah, I heard a meow. Or no, I heard a moo. There it is. That is another fun little result of the Fog of War mod. I actually heard things, and I knew to go look for them. Amazing. Now that we found all of them, we'll have Cinnamon just come down, make sure there's no more. We'll set the entire pack of alpaca. And the whole pack of gazelles. We will hunt for days. This meat will last a pretty decent amount of time. I think several weeks. If nothing else, we can sell it. That'll give Cinnamon something to do for a long time. Kiyosuke will be able to stay home, clean things up, take care of the blood, butcher things, cook the food, all that good stuff. Meaning Amit, as soon as he's done up here mining, we need to go find... He's actually already done. So what we're going to do now is find paths where I think there may be some good ores. And then we'll dig in and look for them. I suppose the best thing to do is just do it near the base. So let's come up here. We will mine somewhat through the middle of this. And possibly we'll see the results of that before I dig any further. But it seems like this is going to be one big ore. I doubt something will spawn there, so maybe more off towards the side. Maybe we'll do like 3. And then down. Something like this. Let's see what the results of that are going to be. The result of that is a random pile of mineable sulfur, unfortunately. Pretty much means there's no sense in going through the rest of this. And for no particularly good reason, Kiyosuke has gone catatonic again. This time, it says the reason was serious pain. Well, I suppose that's not no particular reason. It's the muscle parasites that I completely forgot about. He has been being tended, but I'm sure that'll get taken care of. We'll haul this urgently in there, and then lastly, we'll shut off this nonsense sulfur since it's clogging up our inventory. We have a raid of unknown size somewhere. However... Oh, we found saltpeter with Amit over here. However, we have Amit's prepared with melee. We have Cinnamon prepared with ranged. So as soon as Amit's done digging this last diggy, he'll have to come back. And you know what? Do we have time? Yeah, we have time. This is a very small diggy. And we see nothing. All right, let's come back and prepare. We'll have Amit probably stand over there at that side. As soon as Cinnamon's done this cooking, which she's done now, we'll have her stand over there. So we have vision on both sides, and now we wait. We wait to see what shows up. When Kiyosuke was up, I really should have built a defensive tower by the water. It would have helped. Not a defensive tower, a vision tower. I don't think it helps you with shooting at all. Seems like our vision is closing in. That's because it's getting darker, because the sun's going down. Oh god, that's terrifying! It's closed in so much! We won't even be able to see even if we saw the enemies, we wouldn't be able to do anything at this point. And now we have a major break risk. Alright, we're just gonna have to ignore this fact. Everyone go get yourself some meals, some rest and relaxation before the raid. I guess we'll know they're here when they come a-knocking. Quite literally. Aha! Caitlin has shown up. What the heck? She's just got like a torn... She's not wearing any pants. She's literally just has a torn tribal poncho. Okay, the pantsless tribal has shown up. Let's get Cinnamon to the side. Amit over here. There may be more. Whoa, there's more! Amit, give Pointer the old stick in the face. She actually has some sort of dress, it would seem. Oh my lord, and Bridget now is showing up. Apparently, a bunch of naked female tribals have shown up. Yep, Bridget is literally naked, wearing a sack on her head. But she's also carrying an axe, a steel axe pour. Cinnamon most likely cannot handle that by herself. They're coming for Cinnamon. We're gonna have to charge over here. Hope to take down Pointer. Amit lands a beautiful, fantastic stun. Big hit in the face shortly thereafter. 19 hours. Amit, how you doing? Not even a point of death. Woo! Beautiful. All right, let's have Cinnamon take this corner. And we'll have Amit come around the corner because they only have melee weapons. It seems like there's 3 tribal. Whoa, that was close. No, they're going after our bunny. Okay, if we take down Bridget, we'll be all right. Come on, boss. Take him down. Okay, Cinnamon, aim for Caitlin. No! Our poor bunny, the only bunny in the world. Oh, I just saw that this was 3 people. The only bunny in the world that we could tame by virtue of just being nice. It has been felled by Caitlin, the pantsless bunny slaughterer. Amit seems to be more than capable of holding them both. Whoa! Whoa! That was our tent! By the way, if this tent is destroyed, this is bad news. We can't replace this tent as far as I know. So I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we can repair it when we take it down? I didn't realize it would be so easily destroyed. Death in 15 hours, no immediate danger. Amit, if you'd be so kind, just take one of them down, please. Amit himself has just been crushed in the liver, crushed in the torso. He's doing okay, though, because of the shield. Keep in mind, the shield cannot be replaced, and it's already down to 267 out of 320 health. There it is. Beautiful. Let's take the last one down. Mostly because I want that axe. Whew! And apparently, if you're a bunch of tribals running around naked, assault didn't go so well. But we did pick up a few axes that maybe we could sell if we were to put these things into our stockpile. Meanwhile, let's dispose of the corpses in the true Dwarven style by making sure there's room to throw them into the river. Throw the naked woman into the river, boys. Or maybe just do it in the morning when we're more relaxed. Unfortunately, Kiyosuke's the only person who can fix this fence, and because they burnt down one piece of fence, all the animals in the world can come in here and eat all the meat that we have here, unfortunately. I wonder what Cinnamon just had to say to Amit there. Cinnamon chatted about favorite haircuts with Amit. Apparently, Cinnamon is none the... Oh, actually, maybe Cinnamon saw all of these females showing off their haircuts. And she's like, boy, I really wish dwarves had more than 4 styles of haircuts so I could look as good as them. Amit spoke about boars with Cinnamon. Yes, Amit's not really that attuned to the needs of the female hairdresser, it would seem. Surprise, surprise. Okay, I can see this little kiwi over here is coming in. Let's go see if we can't have Amit for... Yeah, he's coming. Look at that little kiwi. Apparently they eat meat. Let's get Amit in there to murder the kiwi. Yeah, more like meat delivery. And Cinnamon spends no time whatsoever, no remorse whatsoever, just chopping up our own little bunny. It's the dwarven spirit. What you can't keep as pet, you eat as meat. I think it's time to find another place for Amit to prospect. And not more than 15 microseconds later, the corpses are still fresh in the river, and we done got raided again. You know, if you combine all of their clothes, they have one suit of clothing between all 3 of them, which really begs the question, I wonder where they got that one suit of clothing between the 3 of them. I wonder what story that might be told.
It was a time of dwarves and men, when 3 of those men were women, not a piece of clothing between them, each sadder than a previous femme. Oh, so much these 3 would cry, sorrow their closest ally, for in rain they couldn't stay dry, so cold the ground when they lie. The wails of their woe were too much, the heart of the wind did they touch, so one day the breeze came clutch, bringing them items as such. 1 poncho, 1 dress and 1 cap, the bodies they could finally wrap, but that left a sizable gap. Their wardrobe was still pretty crap. However, there was no going back. Clothing hunger all out of whack. 3 pieces of it, a mere snack. More garments they wanted to jack. They set out to fulfill that quest. And you already know the rest. Because decision, it wasn't the best. Attacking 3 dwarves in their nest. Perhaps this might fill you with dread, but in the end only this can be said, by promise of clothing misled. 3 women, 1 suit are dead.
So that does it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to support making of future episodes, remember to hit the like button and also subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out in these first episodes. And if you're an Amazon Prime user, perhaps you didn't know you can support us at absolutely no cost to you by subscribing on the Twitch channel. Even if you don't watch the streams, that'll help us create more content here on YouTube. Very much appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hope to see you in the next one. Oh, better to shut down his ability to shoot. Did Kiyosuke lose anything? No, because he was just getting meleeed. This is incredibly bad because Amit was insulted by Kiyosuke because he was working in the dark because I forgot a lamp. These dwarfs are just doofies, boys. They go into the mines. They've never been miners in their lives. They just work. Oh, ha, ha! Cinnamon saves the day.